Okay, and this is one of those things that from our class we also got to install AutoCAD Electrical. And this is pretty good for PLCs and also for just doing wiring and whatnot. And so what we're going to do is we're going to set up, and we have this drawing. It's a blank drawing right now, but we're going to do some ladder logic and also the interface cable. And this is just a blank template. And if we can zoom out a little bit. And this is just a blank template. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take a look at the properties. We're going to give it a name. Well, sheets, we'll just say that this is sheet number 1. And it'll be of sheets 1 of 1. And the title is going to be, call it interface cabling, and this will be for title number 2. We'll call it, and you have to keep the names short so they don't take up too much space, but it'll be controller to garage. And we could probably put more information to say it's for the automated parking garage project, but it's okay as is. Now we'll say that's okay, and that puts it down in this corner right now, right down here. So we have our interface cabling controller to garage, and what we're going to do is we're going to, if we can not get lost in our drawing here, and I haven't worked out how the zoom works, but what we can do is go up here for the schematic, and what this thing with a ladder, what we're going to do, even though this is cabling drawing, we're going to insert a ladder for this, and we're going to put in a ladder. And what that does, we're going to make the paper pretty wide since we want the drawing to take up most of the width of the paper, and we'll make the spacing 1 inch. Now I've taken a look at this, so I know about what's going to fit. Now here we're going to put 20 rungs. We have a 20 to 20 interface. It's straight across, straight through, and so the rungs work perfect. What we'll get is we'll get a drawing that is straight across just like this. And you can draw it with no bus, which is no bar on the side. You can do it with no rungs in the middle. We don't want that, but we want them all. We don't want to skip anything. And we'll just put our first wire number as 101, and then it'll index it by 1 all the way down. So we said OK, and now we just hit a start point, and we can put it anywhere since we can move it, but we'll pick, let's do there because that's where the grid is, and see how that works. And that puts it in fairly well. Now if we want to move it, we can just select the whole thing, go to home, and just do move, and there we can move it around just a little bit. Try to center it a little bit more. So we'll put it right there. Now if we want to do, we'll put in text and we'll name all our signals. Now we'll do multi-line, and we'll just pick a point. It's not really that important. Now what we want is we'll start doing some of our things that we can make it custom to our drawing. So we'll say the height. Now because our spacing is 1 inch or 1 unit per rung, we should make it about half that. So we can make it 0.5, but we'll make it 0.4. And now we want the line spacing, which is an L. We want that, and here it says, do we want it at least or exactly? We'll say, since we know it's 1 between the rungs, we'll make it exactly 1 between our multiple lines. And here we can put in how wide we want it. And if we're 16.5 across, we don't want to go beyond, say, 10. And so now we've got a little ruler there, and now we just enter our text. And what we can do is we can go from our other drawing that we have is pin 1 is carousel motor, pin 2 is the motor return. So all we do is we just start typing, and I also know that the motor is M1, so it'll be carousel motor. And then when we're finished, we can just hit return, and then it'll go carousel motor return. And we'll make the return capital, and then for the next pinouts, pin 3 and 4 are the 24 volt DC, so we'll make those both plus 24. Okay, and we're going to complete that to the end, and we're going to turn it off right here, and we'll fill in all of. Okay, we've filled in all the blanks, and we're almost finished, and our last line is going to be the first floor request. So we'll put in first, well, it'll be PB1. And we'll show you what happens if you go beyond the width of the symbol, and why you want to make that wide enough so you won't go beyond that. Let's see, we'll put in car request for first floor. What happens is it automatically goes to another line, so if you have your spacing correct, you don't want to do that because it'll mess everything up. So we'll go in and we'll just get rid of that. And now we'll keep on creating lines unless we just hit escape. And it says, do we want to save? Yes. So now what we've got is we've got a couple things that we want to look at. First, our text is just a little bit too low to really read. So it's all as a block. So what we can do is we just select it. We go to the home and we move it. And we move it all as one big block. And we can move it any way we want. But we want to make it readable, so we'll take a look at putting it there. And another thing we can do is we can take it all and we can go down in the properties, and because I don't like the white on white, we can just go into the color here and select a color, and let's see, red isn't too good. Yellow looks pretty good. And so let's make it yellow. And we can just escape there, and now we've got all our print in yellow. And so now there's also a couple things that are wrong. Here we've got P but a little b, and that should be capital, and then carousel should be capitalized too. So what we can do is we can go in here and we can tab right to the letter that is not correct and just change that. And we'll do the same thing down here with the B down here. We'll just backspace over it and put a capital B. And those are some of the nice features you can do with that. And we want to save our text. Yes, we do. And if we want to put additional text over here, so we'll just put a single line over here, and we'll just put it over here. We'll keep it the same height. Now it just asks for, do you want the height and do you want to rotate? And we could rotate it 90 degrees, and then we can put in the text of, at this side we want A2 controller, and then over here we want to put in A3 garage, so we know which end is which. And we can escape. Now what that did is it puts it at the 90 degrees. So now we select it and we move it, and we can move it down there. Now if we find out where our other one went to, well, I'm not quite sure. Things we can do with this is we can scale it if we want it bigger, So we might put it there, we might move it. And we can also just copy it. So we can copy this, move it over here. And for this, you should have these ortho and snaps on so they come straight across. And what we're going to do with this is we're going to change this guy's properties so that instead of A2 controller, we'll make him the A3 garage. And let's say OK to that. So now what we've got our controller and our garage. Okay, and one thing that we should do is, one final thing is, when we have our drawing, kind of the way we want it, is we should go over to the manager, and now we have our garage, and we have the wiring diagrams. We have some of the controller assembly drawings, but what we should do is highlight this guy, and then we right-click him, and we should say Add Active Drawing. So we're going to add this drawing, our interface drawing, to our garage assembly. So we say Add Active Drawing. Now it'll say, do you want to apply the project default values? And yes, we do.